How are you guys? I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Please, my apologies. I was late. I was supposed to start this is about 30 minutes late, if I'm not mistaken. My apologies for everyone. My apologies for everyone. Okay. All right. Good morning. Happy weekend. Happy Sunday. Or is it? Sorry, my miss. My bad. This Saturday. How are you guys? How many minutes late? Let me see the time. Oh, yeah, I'm about almost 40 minutes late. All right. Let's. How am I going to produce my mic? How am I going to produce my mic? Let me see if it's going to fit. All right. Let me submit. All right, good morning. Sorry, my apologies. I'm late this morning. I overslept. I was tired. Let's see. Who is on YouTube? Let's see. I have to. All right. Let me see all my friends who is here and who is not here. Somebody is saying hi on YouTube. Are you saying hi to me? Because I don't know if you are talking to me. Just waiting. Let's see. Sorry. I'm going to acknowledge all of you. Just give me some few minutes. We are waiting for everybody to come and we start. I'm waiting for everybody to come and then we start. So I'm going to acknowledge everybody. Okay, friends, how are you? This morning, I'm going to be discussing about signs and symptoms, early signs and symptoms of neuropathy. Okay, I will be discussing about early signs and symptoms of what neuropathy. We all know what is neuropathy in diabetics, so that's what I'm going to be discussing. What are the early signs and symptoms of neuropathy? So that is what I'm going to be discussing on this particular video. All right, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm just waiting for Andred Holmes. Good morning. How are you? How are you guys doing? You're welcome. So we're going to be discussing about. Sorry, excuse me. Let me. I have to switch off something. Just excuse me. Sorry. All right. Okay. Let's go. Sorry about that. Andre, how are you? Where are you watching from? All right, let's start. I have wasted a lot of time. I overslept. I was supposed to start about an hour ago. Um, so as I was saying, we're going to be discussing about neuropathy. What are the early symptoms or what are the early signs of neuropathy? And we're going to look at the other symptoms. Now, before I dive into what is neuropathy, we all know what is neuropathy. Oh, okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, we're going to discuss, I'm going to just, in the simple terms, explain what is neuropathy. Neuropathy is the medical terms of a diabetic complications. All right, so when doctors talk about neuropathy, they are talking about, if you're a diabetic or you have an elderly or you are a caregiver to somebody who is a diabetic in the family, either you have a child or your husband or your wife or you have a loved one that is a diabetic. Now, and he or she is complaining about burning sensations. Those burning sensations under your feet or around your feet. You have a burning sensations, you have a numbness, tingling on your feet and in your arms. That is what is called neuropathy. We call it diabetic feet. It's either we call it diabetic feet or we call it neuropathy. Now, when you have, those are complications of diabetics. When you start having those symptoms of neuropathy or diabetic feet, those burning sensations. When that is occurring, it means your nerves are being damaged. When you have those burning sensations in your feet, in around your feet or in your hands, those numbness and tingling in your feet, okay, in your ankles, under or above areas of your feet, when you're having those burning sensations, this is what is termed as neuropathy or diabetic fit. It means your nerves are being damaged. The more you allow that symptoms to continue, you are damaging your nerves in those areas of your feet. And there comes a time the nerves in around those feet will be completely damaged, that you won't feel any temperature. You won't have any sensations in those areas of your feet or in your hands. You can actually get a hammer and hit on those feet, in those areas, once those nerves are damaged, and you cannot feel the pain because blood is not circulating in those areas. The nerves are damaged, and you are prone to amputation. Why do I say you are prone to amputation, or why do I say you are high risk to amputation? Is that when you have an injury in that area, when the nerves are completely damaged, you can't even feel when it is hot or cold in those areas. When somebody touches you in those areas, you can't even feel it. There is no sensations. So when you have an injury in those areas, you can't even know that you have an injury in those areas. You won't even feel it because there's no sensation in those areas. And then there's a tendency or high probability infection is going to penetrate through that opening. And once infection penetrates, that can spread like a wildfire. That can cause you to be amputated. Because one, the immune systems in those areas are weak. You don't have any defense in those areas. Your white blood cells are damaged. So the infections are going to penetrate to the bone areas and spread. And that's what leads to amputation. Because it takes time to heal. Once you're diabetic, you must be very, very cautious of entertaining wounds. And that is why once you're diabetic, doctors will tell you avoid falls, especially if you have an elderly parent. You have to make sure, if you have an elderly parent that is diabetic in the 60s and 70s, make sure somebody is with them at all times to avoid falls. Because when they fall, they can sustain an injury, and that injury can lead to their death or an amputations, because the wounds will going to take time to heal. And in the process of leaving that wound for a long period of time, infection can penetrate. And that's where you start having problems with those complications of amputations or loss of limbs. So that is what we call neuropathy in medical terms. Or in the layman terms, we call it diabetic fit. So we're going to look at those symptoms. And when you start having those neuropathy complications or symptoms, what do you do to get rid of it? Okay, we're going to get into it. So diabetic neuropathy, okay, is a slowly progressing condition that can be hard to detect. Once more, if you cannot hear me, if my audio is not clear, let me know in the comment sections. Now, if you have any questions, put on the comment sections, all right? Those that are watching me on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok, you can send in your questions. Some questions, I can't see them on my screen, so I have to look at my systems here to find the questions. So if I don't see your question instantly, I'm going to see it eventually. Just give me time. I'm not ignoring you. Okay? So when you have neuropathy, it's going to be very hard to detect. Why is it very hard to detect? Because of the burning sensations occurring in your feet and damaging the nerves. That nerve takes a lot of messages in around our body. That's how our body communicates with each other. There are a lot of neutrons that runs through those nerves. Okay? So when those nerves are damaged, you will shortage of communications. Our body communicate with each other. In terms of when this part of the needs some hormones or something is happening, they communicate with each other to get to the brain to interpret it. Okay? So when those nerves are damaged, one, there's going to be blood circulation is going to be limited. Blood will not be reaching in those areas. And that can also even cause you to have a blood clot. I've lost some friends that have died because of that. Because the nerves are damaged, they went to an operation to correct it. Eventually, they could not correct it properly. So there's an occurrence of blood clots. And that's what leads to their death. Alright? So diabetic neuropathy happens when you develop kidney disease as a result of complications of diabetes. Okay? As a result of what? Diabetes. If you develop a kidney disease as a result of complication of diabetes. Now, for instance, when we talk about retinopathy, it's a medical term for eye, because losing your eyesight or losing one of your eyesight or losing both of them or losing about 50 or 70% is also a complication of what? Diabetes. In medical terms, we call them retinopathy. There are different stages that can lead you to lose your eyesight if you don't take care of your diabetic situation. This is due to also nerve damages. There are a lot of nerves that are connected to our eyesight, and if you allow those, because if you have too much sugar levels in your bloodstreams and they keep accumulating and you're not rid of them, anytime you have too much sugar level in your bloodstream, try as much as you can to bring it down. The more you allow those sugar levels to be accumulating and stay longer in your bloodstreams, the nerves are being damaged. Either it could be your eye, or it could be your kidneys, or it could be your liver, or it could be your sexual area. You know, it can cause you to have erectile dysfunction in terms for the men. Can also cause women to lose libido. They don't feel of any intimacy. They don't enjoy intimacy anymore. Okay, they used to enjoy it before, all of a sudden the loss of intimacy and they're diabetics. So that can also cause a lot of series of damages in those areas. So there are complications that are arising from diabetes, and neuropathy is one of them. So in terms of eye, we call them retinopathy. Then when you have kidney disease, we call it nephropathy. So nephropathy is a complication of what? Diabetes that have to do with kidney disease. So these are all medical terms that are used to identify each complications. So for the last 10 minutes, what have you learned about neuropathy? One, they are very hard to detect. And it's a progressive condition. It starts from mild to advanced stage. It's a progressive condition that starts gradually from stage 1, progressing from mild to an advanced stage. And again, it is very hard to detect. It damages the nerves. Okay? It happens when you develop a kidney disease due to complications of diabetes. All right? So we're going to look into all those symptoms. YouTube, what is going on YouTube? Who's saying hi there? Let me see. You got Yajit, how are you on YouTube? All right, let me see what is happening on Facebook. Somebody is asking me. Okay, Stanley on Facebook, Doc. Sorry, I can't see that. Stanley on Facebook. Let me see what he said. He said, Doc, of late, I'm urinating very many times. What may be the problem? Stanley from Kenya. Okay, those that are watching me on Facebook, there's a question from Stanley Machini from Kenya. He said, of lately, I'm urinating very many times. What may be the problem? Okay, Stanley, I'm going to start this way. Anytime you notice a symptom, anytime you notice a symptom, a particular symptom, write the date and time of that particular symptom because the doctors are going to need it. When you notice a particular symptom, the first time you notice it, write the date and time down because the doctors are going to need it. Because when you go to see a doctor, he's going to tell you when you start noticing the symptoms. That helps the doctors to evaluate and diagnose it properly. That is one. So Stanley, try to know the date and time you notice this frequent urination. Then secondly, you say you're urinating a lot. Have you gone to see the doctor? Now, if you are peeing a lot, that could be a sign or symptoms of diabetes. But not all the time. Frequent urination does not all the time mean that you're diabetic. You could be pre-diabetic. Okay? You could be what? Pre-diabetic. Or other illness. So let's not say that anytime you start having frequent urination, oh, you're diabetic. No. The only time you can determine for sure you're diabetic is if you notice that symptom that have lasted for 7 days, go and see a doctor immediately to do a blood work. That blood work is not going to rule certain things out and rule certain things to say, okay, you're a diabetic or you're not a diabetic, or you have this or you have that. So now, if you say you've been noticing, Stanley, I believe you are listening to me. So if you have been peeing a lot, I'll suggest you go and see a doctor to do some blood work. But just have at the back of your mind that frequent urination, when you are peeing constantly, that could be a sign of what? Diabetes. Okay? That could be what? Diabetes. If you are lucky, it could be pre-diabetes. If you are pre-diabetes, you are not yet a diabetes. That means you are lucky to cut it early, so you still have chance to reverse the trend, not to be fully diabetes. So if you are urinating frequently, as you said in your question, okay, that could be an early sign of diabetes. So I would advise you to go and see a doctor to run a test as soon as possible to confirm if you are actually a diabetes or you are not a diabetes, or if there's any other complications or if there's any other illness. Okay? All right? So Stanley, I believe I've answered your question, Stanley. Can you confirm that? Let me know. Let's go to the next one. Stanley, confirm that you've heard what I said, so we can proceed. So this question is the same thing with what I just answered. Those that want to see the question, you can go to Facebook and to see Stanley question. Stanley, all right, so let's go back to our topic. All right, so let's go back to our topic. I'm going to be checking in. So, neuropathy is a progressive condition. It takes time to detect. It's one of the complications of diabetes. Okay, it damages the nerves and also can lead you to an amputation if you do not solve that problem as soon as possible. Failure to resolve that problem as soon as possible can cause you to do what? Lose your faith. I cannot see, there are certain questions I cannot see properly. All right. So, I'm going to respond to that question. Okay. When you get to that, your question, I'm going to respond to it because it's part of what I'm going to discuss. So just keep watching. So let's look at early diabetic neuropathy symptoms and signs. What are the early neuropathy symptoms and signs? Now, you understand that we are discussing about diabetes. What if you're a diabetic patient or you're a caregiver or you have a loved one that is dealing with this terminal illness or this chronic condition, you shouldn't worry about diabetes itself. Don't worry about the diabetes. Diabetes is just a name of the disease. What you should be worried about is the complication that arises from the diabetes. That is what you're going to be concerned. Those complications is what causes harm to your health and even can lead to your death. They are fatal. So don't worry about diabetes. That is just a name of the disease. What you should be concerned is identify the complications of diabetes and guide against them. Okay, my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter, or my loved has diabetes. What should I be worried about? Go and find out if this will have diabetes, what does it cause? If I fail to take care of them, one, they're going to be blind. They can lose their eyesight and become blind. That is one complication. They can lose their kidney or their liver. That can lead them to death. You need a kidney transplant or start going to dialysis. If you can't find a donor, that can lead them to their death. You can lead an amputation. It can lead to, if you're a man, it can lead to erectile dysfunction. That you lose loss of erection. If you're a woman, loss of libido. Okay? Now, other things you have to worry about is that finance. Apart from cancer and other things, diabetes is one of the most expensive diseases to treat. Because you might treat one complication, another complication arises. You might think you are getting out of this one, boom, as soon as you get out of this one, another one comes up. So there's a lot of interchanges in terms of managing diabetes that you have to understand. So do not worry about diabetes itself, worry about the complications. So let's look about the early diabetic neuropathy symptoms and then the signs. There are 5 stages. There are 5 stages. Okay? Kidney disease. So, with most of the kidneys, remember, neuropathy that comes as due to, you have neuropathy. In a short form, they say, oh, it's a complication of diabetes. Oh, why do I have neuropathy? Because I have a diabetic. Yes, we understand that. That's a layman understanding. But actually, neuropathy is as a result of kidney disease arising from diabetic complications. So when you start having, that's what I told you guys, and advise every patient and advise everybody. If you're a diabetic, there are 2 critical organs that you have to watch out for. You must make sure you keep an eye on it. You must make sure those 3 months you have to go and do your test, do your blood work. Make sure if you're in a country whereby you have to pay for every test, save some money, make sure you include checking your kidney, checking your liver. Make sure you pay for that. These are the 2 most important organs in our lives that diabetes tend to attack first. When you are diagnosed with diabetes, the first point of call diabetes need to attack first is your kidney and your liver, because that is the shortest way to get rid of you from surviving. So when you're going to do your blood work every 3 months, and you have to pay for every blood work, try to make sure you check your kidney function and your liver function. They are very, very critical for your survival. You might look healthy outward, but inward your kidney is dying slowly. You must find out what are the filtration rate. If it is below 30, then you're in trouble. If it's below 15, you need a kidney transplant. Okay, your kidney function must be above 60 filtration rate, the GFR. All right, once you start dropping below 60, then you're getting yourself into trouble. So now, the neuropathy is as a result of kidney disease due to diabetic complications. So when we talk about the most kidney disease, neuropathy have 5 stages. Neuropathy have 5 stages, and we're going to look at each and every of those stages to know how it occurs. Neuropathy have 5 stages. Okay? We all know what is GFR, the glomerular filtration rate. Okay? That has to do about your kidney function. All right, which is a measurement of how well your kidney are filtering out toxic and other waste. We know the importance of kidney in our lives. They filter the bad waste out of the system. They don't allow those bad waste, anything that's going to be toxic or harmful to your system, to get in. They filter them out as a waste product, either through urine or through stool, while the good ones are allowed to penetrate to go in. So kidney function is very important to be monitored once you're diabetic. All right, so your glomerular filtration rate, which is your GFR, measures how well your kidneys are doing what? Filtering out toxic waste and other byproducts. All right, now damage and functionality of your kidney is high if you're diabetic. So damage and functionality, which refers to how much kidney damage you have and how the conditions is affecting kidney function. That is why it is necessary you check your kidney. You that asked me that question, I'm coming in the next few minutes. I'll be answering your question through what I'm going to be discussing here, so pay attention. So when you check about your GFR, it's about how well your kidney are functioning. Now, not only about the functionality of your kidney, is at what extent diabetes have damaged the functionality of your kidney. And that is why it is important. If you have a diabetes and you are dealing with a doctor that knows, not every doctor knows how to treat diabetes, that's what you have to understand. There are some doctors that knows how to treat diabetes. And once you go in there and they look at your condition, apart from the drugs they're going to give you to treat your diabetes, you also have to prescribe some drugs to safeguard your kidney and your liver, to protect those 2 organs against the attack of diabetes. Okay? So that is it. So let's look at those 5 stages. Okay? Diabetic neuropathy has 5 stages. Let's look at those 5 stages. I have to turn. Sorry. I guess you can hear me properly now. My AC is on, so I turn it down. So, what am I trying to say? Neuropathy has 5 stages. Neuropathy, when you start having complications of diabetes, that is neuropathy, those morning sensation, is as a result of what? Your kidney disease. Which is as a result of what? The complications of your diabetes. So in general, it's all about managing your sugar levels. Now, what is the difference between somebody that is not diabetic and somebody that is a diabetic? Somebody that is not a diabetic has an internal build system that automatically regulates the amount of sugar levels in their bloodstreams, which is their pancreas and the beta cells. They are still functioning properly. So anytime the sugar level goes above the normal level or below the normal level, the brain sends a signal to the pancreas to alter the balance of the sugar levels in your bloodstreams by reducing and getting rid of those excess glucose levels into the cells of the body where they are needed as fuel. Now, if your sugar levels are down, the brain is going to notify your system that your sugar level is going to be down and then send us some symptoms that you're going to notice. Okay? So when your sugar levels are down, the brain is going to communicate to the pancreas to send out some symptoms to you as a person that your sugar level is down. And that's when you start having symptoms of weakness, fatigue, trying to faint. You can't even stand on your feet. Your loss of energy. You are totally weak. And then we check your sugar level, see that it's below the normal level. Then you know what to do to boost your sugar level up. And once your sugar levels goes up, the brain is going to communicate to the pancreas that says, now you are okay, and then you regain your energy. All right? So it's as a result of kidney disease. But those neuropathy has 5 stages. In the first stage, most symptoms or most disease, in the first stage, you will notice any symptoms. I've had a friend that is people that have diabetes. For 6 months up to a year, they don't even know they are diabetic. Because sometimes those symptoms of diabetes are mild. Sometimes it gives you mixed signals. Except you are the type that is conscious of your health, that know that something is not right with your body, and then go the extra mile to see a doctor to find out why something is not right. And then they find out that you're diabetic or your sugar level is too high. All right. So in most diseases in the early stage, the symptoms are mild or not even existent. You can't even notice it. But as it progresses from stage 1 to stage 2, you start seeing some signs and symptoms that something is totally not right with your system. All right. So in the first stage, you probably wouldn't notice any symptoms at all. Okay. Your GFR, which is your filtration rate, is usually above 90. Okay, and your kidney are probably still functioning well enough to prevent you from experiencing the symptoms. You develop neuropathy because you have developed a kidney disease. We all know neuropathy, kidney. In terms of neuropathy, we're talking about diabetic feet. In terms of kidney disease, we're talking about nephropathy. These are interlinked with each other. That can cause you to have what? The symptoms, those burning sensations. Now, what did I just say earlier on? Your GFR in terms of your kidney function must be above 60 for you to be sure that your kidneys are functioning properly. 60, 70, 80, 90, above 90, it means your kidney are functioning properly. Anything below 60, you are in the territory of going to look for dialysis or looking for a donor for a kidney. Especially when it goes to 30. At 30, you are at stage 3, if not stage 4. At 15, definitely you need a kidney transplant because it means your kidneys are not functioning anymore. They are not in existence. You are in dialysis, you are in survival mode. And that's when you start building fluid in your system. Your body start building fluid because your kidney cannot filter all those fluid out of your system. That's why I see that your feet start swelling up, your stomach starts swelling up, all your body starts swelling because there's too much of fluid in your system. All right? TikTok, are you guys listening? I need a confirmation. Facebook, YouTube. So at the fourth stage, your kidney functions, your kidney GFR is probably about 90. That means it is functioning properly. Okay? So we are going to look at the functionality of your kidney. Okay? In stage one, in stage one, your GFR, which is your glomerular filtration rate about your kidney, is 90 and higher. When you have your kidney function, GFR in your kidney function is 90 and higher, okay, it's not up to 100. At 90 and higher, your kidneys are still functioning despite they have some little damages. Despite there's a damage in your kidney, okay, but at 90 it's still functioning. So you don't have anything to worry about, but you still have to keep an eye on this because from 100 it comes to 90. It's still okay. Your kidneys are functioning properly, even with the little damage in it. All right? Even with the little damage in it. All right? Now, when you go to stage 2, 89 to 60. So from 89 to 60, that's the stage 2. Okay? At this stage 2, your kidney has what? Excuse me? Your kidney is damaged and has loss of functionality. So from 89 to 60, your kidney is damaged and has lost some functionality. Okay? 89 to 60 is damaged, has lost some functionality. Stage 1 and stage 2, you're still okay. Nothing to worry about. But from stage 3, 4 and 5, that is where you have to worry about. Remember, you are having this neuropathy because as a kidney disease, which arises because of diabetes. That's why I told you guys. If you're a diabetic, make sure you always make sure your sugar level is at where it's supposed to be. And if you are newly diagnosed as a diabetes, or even if you're an existing patient as a diabetes, make sure you keep an eye on your kidney and liver function. This is the critical area. Diabetes is looking for a slightest chance that you lost concentration in managing your diabetes to penetrate and strike on your kidney. That's by the time you recover, you say, you say, what the hell? I checked my kidney last time about barely a month ago. It was okay. From now, I'm in dialysis. Because what diabetes does that it hovers around your system. It goes scanning your system. It goes scanning your system where they can have an opportunity to strike. So even though you've reversed or you are monitoring your sugar level each and every day, and you are going to check your A1C level and they're looking good, do not lose any concern. Don't just go and relax and say, you know what, now I'm okay. All right? Because diabetes is just lying dormant, waiting for you to be carried away, lost concentration, and allow your sugar level to creep up and then strike when they see an opening. So if, for instance, you went and checked your sugar level 2 months ago, everything was, your kidney, when you're doing your test, everything was okay. They're going to say you don't have anything to worry. And you went back all of a sudden, from 90 to 60. What happened? That's stage 2. It means something went wrong, that your kidney was damaged and lost concentration because you were carried away or you went back to what you were eating before, or you're taking your medications and the sugar level crept up, and then it strike. So why should it drop from 89 to 60 instantly? And that is why I see those neuropathic burning sensation, because they are all interlinked. The nerves in the system, they all communicate with each other. Okay? Now let's go to stage 3. The stage 3 is 59 to 30. At stage 3, that is where it becomes critical. That's a warning sign, amber light flashing. From 59 to 30, amber light is flashing. You'll be needing dialysis soon, or you'll be needing a donor soon for a kidney. At 59 to 30, your kidney has lost up to half of its functionality. So half of your kidney function have been lost. So this may lead you to have problem with your bones. This may let me see. So this may lead you, okay, to have problem with your bones. So at 59 to 30, half of your kidney function is totally lost. And this might now start lead you to have a bones with a problem. So at stage 3, it's an amber light flashing, because you allow the sugar level to have too much control in your system, and then you're damaging the kidney. Damaging the kidney, you start having those neuropathy symptoms. Your burning sensations in your feet, the nerves have been damaging, the tingliness, everything. That is why you have to pay attention to your kidneys and your liver. All right? Pay attention to your kidney. So at stage 3, you've lost half of your kidney function, and then the next thing you're going to be having problem with your bones. Column. Hello, Column. So let's go to stage 4, 29 to 15. At this stage, your kidney is gone. At stage 4, your kidney is gone. Once it goes below 30, you've lost your kidney. You need a transplant. You can survive with one kidney. If you're lucky, both kidneys are, one kidney is okay and the other one is okay, you can survive with one. But if both of them are damaged, you have a problem. You can live with one kidney and allow the other kidney to go, depending on how damaged. But when it goes to 29 to 50, you have a severe kidney damage. Okay? Then when it's at 15, you need a kidney transplant. At 15, you need a kidney transplant. These are the 5 stages that you have to go about your diabetic neuropathy. Once your kidney's filtration rate is going down, once you allow your kidney damage to continue, you're going to have those neuropathy in your feet, those burning sensation, because your sugar levels are too high. In the first place, why is your kidney being damaged? Because you have too much sugar in your bloodstreams. There's too much sugar in your bloodstreams. You're not controlling your sugar level, or you're not watching, you are not dieting properly. There's something you are doing wrong, that your kidney was attacked and damaged, and now the result is those neuropathy. Now I'm going to give you guys a typical example. For the past 2 weeks, I've been having some pain in my gums. You know, the back one. In the first, that was in October. My last, you know, the gum, the last teeth you have at the back of your, what do you call it? Is it a wisdom teeth? I was having a pain in my gum there. When I was brushing my teeth, I noticed that I can't even put my brush to brush my teeth that area. When I put my brush in those gum in that area, I start feeling pain. So I keep monitoring it. I keep monitoring that I start feeling pain in that gum when I start brushing my teeth. So the first week back, I still having that pain in that area. After the first week, the pain now come to the second gum. So both of them are now become painful. And I keep saying, why am I having painful gum? why am I having painful gum? Because I've seen my dentist recently. So why am I having painful gum? I can't even, when I'm brushing my teeth, I make sure that the brush doesn't get to that area because it's going to be very painful. So I say something is wrong. So I track back when last I took my diabetes drug. I see for the past 2 weeks I have not taken my diabetes drug. Because sometimes I take my diabetes drug, sometimes I just leave it because I'm active. So I'm constantly on exercising. So when my sugar levels are okay, so I say okay, so my sugar level is okay, so I just leave my diabetes drug for the past 2 weeks. So I track back that for the past 2 weeks I have not taken my diabetes drug, even though, and what happened is that 2 weeks I have not been to the gym also. So the 2 weeks I have not been to the gym also, and that 2 weeks I have not taken my medication. So I said, okay, I know what's the problem. My sugar level is a little bit high. That's why I'm having that painful gum. So I did not go to my dentist. I said, okay, I know what I'm going to do. So I returned back to the gym, and then I went back to my drugs. And when I went back to my drugs, for the past 2 weeks, that pain has disappeared. So I noticed that my sugar level crept up. Because what you have to understand, you have to be conscious of your body. If you know your body very well, you know when something is wrong. So I know something is wrong. So I track back to know what is wrong in order to correct it immediately. Why am I having painful gums? All of a sudden I develop painful gums. Because I know one of the symptoms of your sugar level, you're having a too much sugar level, is that you're going to develop, your gums are going to be awful, you're going to have a painful gum. Sometimes all your gum area, when you're brushing your teeth, you're going to be feeling pains in your gums when your sugar level is too high. Or when you have an odor, you brush your teeth, but you still have an odor in your teeth. You have a tooth decay. It's like you have a tooth decay. You brush your teeth frequently, but when you speak, you can feel that you have an odor coming out of your mouth, or an infection in your tooth. When you have a too much sugar level, and if it lasts you for a long time, say up to a month, it can make you start losing your teeth. Okay, that's why I have. If you watch here, I lost one of my teeth here, and I lost one of my teeth here because I allowed my sugar level to creep up too much. I didn't recognize it, and it caused me to have a toothache. I have to go and remove them. Then as soon as I get back to normal and start bringing my sugar level down, all those things disappear. So the symptom, what you have to understand, that too much sugar level can cause you to have painful gums, tooth infection, all right, and also odor in your mouth, or mouth odor. So once you notice all those things, that I brush my teeth, why am I still having odor in my mouth? Or you see, when you're talking to people, they are closing their mouth. Sometimes you that is talking cannot even smell your odor, but the person listening to you will smell your odor, and they tend to stay away from you. But you're wondering, but I'm brushing my teeth. So you also have to know that when sugar levels rise too much, it can infect your gums. To have a painful gums, or have an infection in your teeth that can lead you to have a toothache or tooth decay, or mouth odor. So these are the things you have to watch out for. Not necessarily that, oh, sugar level is going to make me to feel. No, there are several symptoms. Once your sugar levels are too high, it can develop from any part of your body. So, in the first place, why are you developing kidney disease? And let me correct something. Not every kidney disease, not every kidney patient is diabetics. No. You may have a kidney problem, you are not even a diabetic because due to other complications or other issues. But if you're a diabetic and you are not controlling or treating your sugar levels properly, it can develop to have neuropathy, kidney disease. That is when it's having damaging your kidney, and that's what is going to lead you to have what is called neuropathy, because the nerves are going to be damaged. Blood are not circulating in those areas properly. Okay, so these are the things you have to be conscious of, about understanding what the system is all about. All right. So when your kidney goes below from 30 to 15, at 15 you need a kidney transplant. At 30, you've lost your kidney. You don't have any functionality in your kidney is damaged. You're going to be on dialysis to or be on the waiting list to see somebody who's going to donate a kidney for you. All right. So now let's go to the first symptoms of diabetic, neuropathy. So we have dealt about the process, how you develop nephropathy. It's as a result of kidney disease arising from diabetes. You're not controlling your sugar level. It also has to do with your sugar levels. So now let's look at those symptoms. What are those symptoms of diabetic neuropathy? What are those symptoms? Hold on, there's a question here I need to deal with. I need to know the number. Yeah, if you don't give me the number, I won't be able to tell you. I need to know the number, what is going on. And when you test your sugar level, what is the number? When you test your sugar level, what is the number? When you test your sugar level this morning, what is the number? And I need to know the number you're going to give me. Is it post meal? Is it before your breakfast or after a pre-meal or post meal? So let me know if it is pre-meal or post meal. So let's look at the symptoms of. Let's look at the symptoms of my tea is hold on. I'm going to change something. Hold on, please. I'll be right back. I want to change the TV channel. I can change the TV channel words. Can't change it. All right. Okay, let's look at the symptoms. Let's look at the symptoms. All right. That you that asked me the symptoms of neuropathy. This is where I'm going to answer your questions about the symptoms of neuropathy. Because somebody asked me what are the symptoms of neuropathy, so I'm going to answer those questions here. The symptoms of neuropathy. Now, in the early stage of your kidney disease, your GFR, you notice the symptoms. You start noticing the symptoms of neuropathy at stage 2. That is when your kidney filtration rates have dipped below 90, about 89 to 60. From 89 to 80 to 70 to 60, that is when you start noticing the symptoms of neuropathy. Okay, that's burning sensation, tingling in your feet. Now, one thing you have to understand about neuropathy is that anytime your sugar level creeps up, you develop that symptoms. That's one. Secondly, there are certain food that you're going to eat that contains too much carbs or simple refined carbs. As soon as you put them in your mouth, it goes into your feet, you start noticing those symptoms of neuropathy, those burning sensations. Like for me, there are certain food that I cannot take. As soon as I put them in my mouth, not even start chewing them, the burning sensation have started. It have traveled fast. That I'm eating something that my body doesn't accept the carb. So what I have to do was to stop eating that thing. Because the more I eat it, the more it increases those burning sensations, which is very uncomfortable. All right? So there are certain food, that's how you eliminate certain food. There are certain food you're going to eat. You are okay, your feet are okay. As soon as you start eating certain food, you start seeing those burning sensations. So that is one way to eliminate certain food that, you know what, this food my body doesn't need it, because I don't want those burning sensations in my. It can make you be uncomfortable, because you'll be trying to rub your legs each other is uncomfortable, very uncomfortable and very painful. So in those ways you can eliminate certain foods. So that's what I say, as a diabetes, you have to identify the simple carb and the complex carb. As a diabetes, you have to concentrate on the complex carbohydrates and then avoid those food that fall under simple carbs. Those simple carbs are the one that's going to alter your sugar balance and also cause you those complications of neuropathy because they contain a lot of carbs in it. Go for identify foods that are under complex carbs, e.g. fiber. As a diabetic, you have to look for food that contains fortified with fiber. Fiber is what you need as a diabetic because those fibers are complex in nature. Your body cannot break them down easily. It doesn't even know how to break them down. So it does not affect or alter your sugar balance even though you are eating those foods. Okay? The simple refined carbs are the ones that instantly alter your sugar balance and cause you to have those symptoms of neuropathy or diabetes or frequent urination. Okay? So let's go to those symptoms of neuropathy. As I said, in the early stage of kidney disease, the GFR, in the 90, you might not notice those symptoms. As from stage 2, when it has dipped below 89 to 80, that's when noticing the symptoms of neuropathy, those burning sensations in your feet. Okay? So, what are those symptoms? What are those symptoms? Okay? One is occasional fatigue that is not dependent on the activity level. Okay? One of the symptoms is occasional fatigue that is not dependent on your activity levels. All of a sudden you are tired, but you've not done anything tedious. You're not even exercising, you are relaxed, but you are tired. So this is an unexplained fatigue that is not dependent in anything that you are doing. You are not being active. So that's one symptom of neuropathy. The second one is loss of appetite for no clear reason. Remember in the first one, for no clear reason you develop fatigue, you are tired. You are not engaged in any activity. All of a sudden you are tired. You cannot explain your fatigue. That is one, symptoms of neuropathy. And the second one is loss of appetite with no clear reason. All of a sudden you don't develop appetite to eat. And you ask yourself, why, all of a sudden I don't have an appetite to eat. Those are the second symptoms of neuropathy. Now the third one is consistent headache. Consistent headache. Okay? Consistent headache. You have to differentiate between headache and migraine. But when you have a consistent headache, watch out for what it is. Now the next one is you have a dry or itchy skin that is not connected to weather or humidity levels. All of a sudden you have a dry or itchy skin, but the weather is fine. The weather is not hot, it's not cold, it's well normal, but you have a dry skin and itchy skin. Okay? So that is what it is. Now, nausea and vomiting with no apparent cause. Nausea and vomiting with no apparent cause is first symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. We're looking at the first symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. Okay? Then we have the mild swelling in your arms and in your legs. I'm trying to do something here. Sorry about that. Okay. Um, I'm trying to. Okay, I'm going to correct something now. Um, I'm going to correct something now. All right. Okay, I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to answer your question. With I'm done with that nephropathy, the kidney aspect of it. Okay, I'm done with the kidney aspect of it, the nephropathy. Let me dive into the neuropathy. Okay, now I need to switch off this TV because it's causing me distraction. Okay, this question here comes in. That's how I'm looking at it. It says, how long do you have diabetes before neuropathy? Okay, this question comes in and I say, how long? Now that's why I was looking at who sent that question. How long do you have diabetes before neuropathy? Now, in the first half, it's over an hour now, I will discuss our diabetic nephropathy and then neuropathy. You got to understand, nephropathy, diabetic nephropathy is also a complication of diabetes of itself. Neuropathy is also a complication of diabetes of itself. Now, in the beginning of the video, I told you you might have diabetes without even knowing that you have a diabetes. Now, that neuropathy is the burning sensations in your feet, in your arms, the numbness and the tingliness due to what? Diabetes complications. You're not controlling your sugar levels here and there. Now, why I was caught up with this question was, the person that asked me this question is, I was trying to find out how, because somebody had not asked me that question. So I'm trying to gather my thought to answer that question. Should I answer it professionally or should I answer it in a layman's term? Because he says, how long do you have diabetes before neuropathy? Now, I'm trying to answer it with my own experience. To develop neuropathy, okay, you typically develop neuropathy in the first 10 years of you having diabetes. Okay? So people with diabetes typically develop neuropathy in the first 10 years of living with diabetics. Okay? Now, this is what is called the diabetic fit. So, in the first 10 years of you living with diabetes, you can develop diabetes neuropathy or diabetic fit. Now, what is that diabetic neuropathy? It has to do with your nerve damages. If you fail to control your sugar levels and you allow your sugar level to be accumulating, stay too much long in your bloodstreams, it damages your nerves. And it grows slowly. It's a progressive condition. The more you allow the sugar level stays in your bloodstreams, the more it continues to progress and continue damaging your nerves in and around your feet. This means a person may have diabetes for several years before seeing a sign of neuropathy. So you don't just develop diabetes today and tomorrow you see neuropathy. No, you might have been living with diabetes for several years, and then here comes the neuropathy. That's why I say in the first 10 years of you living with diabetes, you're going to have that neuropathy. To answer that question, because your question says, how long do you have diabetes before neuropathy? Okay, so now this neuropathy refers to any type of damage to the nervous systems caused by having high blood sugar levels. Now, what you have to understand, there are different types of neuropathy. There are different types of neuropathy. Okay, now in the same way when I was discussing in the first half about nephropathy, the kidney disease, there are 5 stages for you to develop kidney disease: the first, second, third, and then the 5th. Okay, also in neuropathy there are 4 main types of diabetic neuropathy. There are 4 different types of diabetic neuropathy. 4. Okay, now I'm trying to correct something. Um, I'm trying to correct something. The symptoms that I was discussing in the earlier first half of this video is for nephropathy, the kidney disease. Okay, the early symptoms that I was discussing before in the first half of this video is for the kidney disease. All right, so I'm trying to correct something. Now, I'm on the neuropathy aspect of it. Now, those stages I gave you is for the kidney disease, the nephropathy aspect of it. Now, if you remember, I did a video on retinopathy. Retinopathy has about 5 stages also. Kidney has about 5 stages also, and then neuropathy has 4 stages, 4 different types of neuropathies. Now, we have the peripheral neuropathy. Okay, this often is the most common type and include the nerve damage. So most diabetic patients have peripheral neuropathy because this is what is the most common one, because it has to do with your nerve damages. The simplest way to understand neuropathy is anytime you're having those burning sensations in your feet, in your arms, in your hands, okay, you are damaging your nerves. You are damaging them. So the most common type of neuropathy most diabetic patients have is the peripheral neuropathy. All right. So this is the most common type and include the nerve damage outside of the brain and then the spinal cord. Okay, it typically affects the legs and the feet. It typically affects the legs and the feet. These are the 2 known areas you have peripheral neuropathy. And this is the most common type of neuropathy most diabetic patients have. So we have 4 types of neuropathy. The first one is peripheral neuropathy, okay, which is the most common and the popular type of neuropathy most diabetic patients have. Now the second one is autonomic neuropathy. Now this peripheral neuropathy is mostly found in legs and feet, and that's why it's most common for those that are living with diabetics. All right. Now, the second one is autonomic neuropathy. This involves damage to nerves that control the major internal organs, such as what? Your heart and then the sex organs. That's why I told you guys, if you fail to control your sugar level, it can cause you to have erectile issue, or erectile dysfunction, ED, or if you're a woman, loss of libido. You might not have interest in sexual intimacy anymore. You don't enjoy it, you don't want it, it's like it's irritating because of this autonomic neuropathy. This is the type of damage of nerve that control the major internal organs such as what? Your heart and your sexual organs. So if you're a woman and you lost appetite for intimacy, you don't even want to hear it at all, then and you're diabetic, then know this have occurred. You have autonomic neuropathy. If you're a man, all of a sudden you lost your erection, ED, then it means you have autonomic neuropathy. So these are all complications of diabetics. Okay, the third one is the focal neuropathy. Okay, this involves damage to the nerves that focal. Why this guy wants to do? So the focal neuropathy. Stanley, wait. Hold on. Let's see what it's telling us. You've not even confirmed back. Alright, let me see. Okay, then we have the third one is the focal neuropathy. This is a damage done to a single nerve. Okay, often occurring in your torso and then in your hands. It's a damage that is done to a single nerve. And where is it most popularly found? In your torso and also in your hand. Then the fourth one is what? The proximal neuropathy. Okay, this is the proximal is the severe among all the other neuropathy. Okay, it's a severe and rare nerve damage that can affect the hips, the buttocks, and then the thighs. Among all the four types of neuropathy, the proximal neuropathy is the most severe and rare type of neuropathy because it affects the hips, the buttocks, and then the thighs. So these are the four main types of neuropathy. But among these four main types of neuropathy, the peripheral neuropathy is what most diabetic patients deal with. But the most popular ones, they are common. And you find them in your arm, in your legs, and then in your feet. Okay? Wow. How come? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 questions within 2 minutes. Okay, the second question says, hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to understand this question here. Okay, we're going to go to it. Okay, yeah, I love this question you sent, but I'm going to, there are 2 questions here. I'm going to, these 2 questions, there are 2 of you are asking the same question, so I'm going to match the 2 questions and ask them. So if you are the one that asked those questions, I'm going to match the 2 questions because they are all similar questions. All right, so I'm going to match the 2 questions and then answer them. Now let's talk about this one. This question says, what can cause you have diabetic neuropathy? What can cause you have diabetic neuropathy? Okay, a simple answer is persistent high blood sugar level in your bloodstreams can cause you to have diabetic neuropathy. It's as simple. I don't need to butter it anyhow. What can cause you to have diabetic neuropathy is persistent high blood sugar level in your bloodstreams. Remember, neuropathy is all about nerve damage. Nerve damage could be in your legs, in your feet, in your hands. Nerve damage could be connecting your retina, your eyesight, because our body is built with a lot of millions of nerves in our systems. They communicate with each other. So when you have persistent nerve damages in and around your feet, you are experiencing diabetic neuropathy or diabetic feet. So what causes you to have neuropathy is because of excess glucose level or sugar levels in your bloodstreams. Okay? So when you have long-term high blood sugar levels and fat levels in your blood, this can damage the blood vessels connecting what? The nerves. And that is why I say when the nerves are damaged, the blood cannot reach in those areas. Okay? There's no blood circulations in those areas of your feet. I've had a friend of mine that passed away, okay, due to these complications of neuropathy. What happened? He has a neuropathy. He's a diabetic patient. I think I've told this story before in one of my videos. He's a diabetic patient. So he had been having this neuropathy. All of a sudden, he lost total sensations in the feet. He cannot feel anything in the feet. So he went for a surgery to correct, to get rid of some of those nerves and see if they can, allow blood to flow in those areas. But one thing is that you can recreate blood vessels, but nerves is very difficult. You can recreate. There's somebody that can recreate blood vessels by themselves, but when it comes to nerves, it's very tedious. So he went for surgery to get rid of some of those dead nerves, and the one they can save, they save is allow blood to flow. So they did a surgery. He went for the first surgery, everything was okay. At the point, he has to go back for the second surgery when he noticed something is different. So after the second surgery, he went back to life. Everything was, and what is so painful is that the worst death you cannot wish to have or experience is a death that you know when they tell you that this person died, you say, no, it's not true. That is the worst death you can ever. When they tell you this person is dead, you say, no, it's not true. Because why? Why is it not true? I don't believe until I see with my eye. So he went to work. It's like, if somebody tell him that morning that you are going to die by 9 p.m. tonight, he won't believe it. He say, you're mad. If anybody approach him that day and say, guy, by 9 p.m. tonight, you're going to be dead. Nobody's because he was healthy, nothing is wrong with him. So he went to work, do whatever he's going to do, everything, and then come back home. Everybody at the work see him, no health issues. He was jovial, he was everything. He went back home as normal, finished his dinner, and then went upstairs to take a shower. The family is downstairs, he's upstairs. He finished his dinner, everything was okay. Play with the kids, and then went upstairs to take a shower. As soon as he goes to the upstairs bedroom to take the shower, he slumped. And that's it. The family is downstairs, not knowing what is happening upstairs, that the man that just left now upstairs is already dead upstairs. So he slumped, and then by the time the family went upstairs to see him lying on the floor, blood was gushing out of the mouth. So, but he's already dead. By the time they get into the hospital, he's dead. So what happened? The surgery did not correct those blood circulation. So the blood was not circulating properly. So there's a blood clot. So, blood circulates through your systems. And that's why you don't want to have anything to obstruct the circulation of your blood. So the blood was not able to circulate properly. So the whole blood have to go back to where it was coming from. And then the heart busted, and then the whole blood come out of the mouth because of poor neuropathy surgery. So you got to be very careful in terms of the surgeries you go to correct your neuropathy. There are some specialists that can do it correctly, and there are some specialists. It's a chance you are taking. It's a chance you are taking to correct the nerve damages. Okay, so nobody believes it, because if somebody you saw today, all of a sudden they call you and say he's dead. So you got to be very careful in terms of your neuropathy surgeries, or if there's any advice for you to go surgeries. If you have a specialist that can do it properly, fine, but it's all chances you are taking. So when you have persistent high blood sugar levels in your bloodstreams, and you're having those burning sensations in your feet, the numbness, tingliness, it means your sugar levels are too high. The more you allow it to accumulate, the more those things are going, the more you are damaging your blood vessels. And there comes a time you're going to lose sensation in those areas, even in your feet, you can't even have any feeling. Somebody can hit you something there, you're not having it because those nerves in those areas is dead. You can have an injury in your feet without even knowing you have an open sore. And that's how infection penetrates, because you're not feeling any pain in your feet, but you have an open wound. And because the white blood cells and your immune systems are low and weak, infection penetrates through those wounds, go down into the deeper layer of the bones, and then spread like a wildfire, and that is where amputation comes in order to save your life, because those wounds cannot heal. The only way to save your life is to amputate your leg. So it is important and critical to make sure that anytime your sugar levels are high, to bring them down. Okay? So that is what causes diabetic neuropathy, is when you have persistent high blood sugar levels or glucose levels in your bloodstreams. All right, let's go to the next one. What is the life expectancy of someone with diabetic neuropathy? What is the life expectancy of someone with diabetic neuropathy? Okay? Okay? So there is not one scientific evidence or research that says this is the this is the amount of how long you are going to live with diabetes and neuropathy. Some doctors, some research have said it 11 years right from day one, you are diabetics. Some say 20 years right from day one, you have neuropathy. So there's no one conclusive evidence to say that your life expectancy of diabetic neuropathy is 10 years or 20 years or 11 years. Some are going to tell you in between 11, 10, 15. But there is no actual evidence or research that says this is the life expectancy of someone living with diabetes and have diabetic neuropathy. Now, for instance, somebody is going to tell you, okay, you have 11 years, 12 years, 15 years. But that depends on the age, the duration you have diabetes and neuropathy, the severity of your diabetic status, and also your overall health conditions will determine your life expectancy with somebody living with neuropathy. In general terms, treating diabetes differs from individual to individuals. The way I treat patient A might be different from the way I treat patient B. The way a doctor treats me might be different from the way a doctor treats it, because a lot of things are put into consideration. My age and your age might not be the same. I might be older than you might be younger than me. Okay? Now, the duration or the severity of my diabetes might be different from yours. I might be taking control of my diabetes situations very well than you. That is careless. That is one factor you have to take into consideration. Secondly, again, is that what is the overall health conditions of me and you? Do you have any underlying illnesses apart from diabetes? So all those things in totality is being compared, gathered together with all those facts and data to say, okay, this is the life expectancy with somebody with neuropathy. Okay? So there's no conclusive evidence in terms of research or even in the medical journal that says you that's living with neuropathy or diabetes, you have 11 years, 15 years to live. There are different factors that are put into consideration to determine that. Your age, your overall health conditions, and then the severity of your diabetic status determines, okay, you have 10 years to live, 20 years to live. But at the same time, it's not conclusive. All right, so let's go to the next question. All right. This is the question I say I'm going to match. Okay, and somebody asked me here, okay, I'm going to match. There are two questions, but there are two questions similar, but my response is going to be the same. Let me read the question here. The first question says, can you stop or reverse neuropathy from diabetes? Let me repeat the question again. Can you stop or reverse neuropathy from diabetics? I'm going to go to the symptoms of neuropathy later after these questions. Okay? And then the second question, that's what I'm going to merge these two questions and add them together. The other question says, why can't you cure neuropathy? Why can't you cure neuropathy? These are two similar questions. And that's what I'm going to answer them in one. One says, why can't you stop or reverse neuropathy? And the second question says, why can't you cure neuropathy? Now, I'm going to answer this question with a simple one-word, one-line sentence. You can't cure neuropathy. And you can't cure neuropathy. You can't stop neuropathy. The question said, okay, can you stop or reverse? You cannot cure neuropathy, neither can you stop or reverse neuropathy. Why? Why? Why do you have neuropathy in the first place? Let me answer it in a kind of funny way. Let me answer it. Maybe you guys that are watching me will understand, will be able to answer the question by yourself. If somebody come now and tell me, if somebody says you have gonorrhea, which is an STD, no, let me reframe the question. Somebody asks, somebody maybe, okay, let me just use myself as an example. And I ask myself, why do I have gonorrhea? I'm just answering this as an example before we go to the question. And I ask myself, why do I have gonorrhea? Because I know gonorrhea is an STD. And then somebody somewhere will say, why are you asking yourself, why do you have gonorrhea? If you don't go and be digging your dick in a woman's destiny, you won't get gonorrhea. All right? If I have stayed alone and mind my business without going up and down, digging myself in a lady's destiny, I might have abstained from getting gonorrhea. Okay? Now the question is, why can't I stop or reverse neuropathy, and why can't I cure neuropathy? You can't cure neuropathy, it's not possible. And you can't even stop or reverse neuropathy. Why? For you to cure neuropathy or for you to stop or reverse neuropathy, you have to deal with diabetes, which is the cause of your complication. You can't stop neuropathy, reverse neuropathy, cure neuropathy, and you are diabetic. It's not possible. As long as you're diabetes, and as long as diabetes is non-curable, you cannot cure diabetes. You can't cure neuropathy, you can't stop neuropathy, you can't reverse it. Because this condition is emanating from diabetes, complication of diabetes. The only way for you to cure, stop, reverse neuropathy is to deal with the underlying cause of diabetes. Is to deal with the underlying cause of diabetes. Too much sugar in your bloodstreams. So that's why diabetes remains non-curable ailment. It is not curable, but it's treatable. Until we find a medication that can cure it permanently, they'll be able to cure this or reverse it. Because once you cure diabetes permanently, this complication disappears. So that is why it is non-reversible. You can't stop it, you can't cure it, because diabetes is non-curable. This complication arises from the complications on underlying cause of diabetes. And the only way to stop, to reverse, to cure neuropathy is to find a particular medication that can cure diabetes. And once you take it and cure diabetes, this complication disappears permanently. So that is why it is non-curable. You can't stop it, you can reverse it. Until we deal with the underlying cause of what? Diabetes. Dealing with the excess glucose levels in our bloodstreams. Alright? So nerve damage from diabetes isn't reversible. But you may be able to stop neuropathy from getting worse. Stopping it from getting worse does not mean you stop it completely. You're only managing it, not to develop or progress from where it is now. Maybe it's in stage 1. You don't want it to go to stage 2. Okay? You don't want to go to stage 2. So you can't reverse it. Once the process of nerve damage have started, cannot be reversed. But you can manage it to stop the progression of those nerve damages. Okay? Or possibly eliminate the symptoms as if you are not living with these complications anymore. How do you eliminate the symptoms? Is to deal with the underlying cause of it. That is why doctors don't treat symptoms, they treat the underlying cause of those symptoms. So if you go to a doctor and you are telling the doctor symptoms, doctors don't treat the symptoms. What he or she treats is the underlying cause of those symptoms to get rid of those symptoms. So it is not reversible once the nerve damage have started. But you may be able, look at the word may. May is not certain, it's a probability. It depends on individual discipline. Are you ready to sacrifice certain diets? Are you ready to give up certain foods? Are you ready to be physically active, exercise? Are you ready to reduce your calories? Are you ready to reduce your carb intake and increase your fiber intake? Are you ready to pay the ultimate price? Deny yourself those comfortability of sweet foods, controlling your craving organs. It involves a lot of discipline. All right? For you to be able to stop neuropathy from getting worse. It's all about discipline, commitment, focus. Don't lose attention. Okay? Then if you're able to do that, then you stand the chance of possibly eliminating the symptoms as if you are not living with what? Diabetes complications. All right? So that is why I say I'm going to match the two answers together. So let's go to um, two more questions. Two more questions. All right. So, are we making any progress? I've been here for 1 hour 30 minutes. Are we making any progress? Let me see. Chelsea. So Chelsea won this morning too. All right. Okay. So let's look at how I'm going to cover this area because it's very important to cover this area. That's the essence of neuropathy. I'm going to cover this area. How does neuropathy affect your body? How does it affect your body? How does neuropathy affect your body? Okay? Still tired. I didn't have enough sleep last night. Try as much as you can. If this is your first time coming across my page and you've not subscribed to my page, join my page. Because the more you watch the videos, the more the algorithm, the system recommend the page to a wider audience. So if you've not yet subscribed to the page, okay, try to join the community. Okay, just press the subscribe button to join. So let's look at how neuropathy affects your body. One, your digestive system. Okay, your digestive system. In our belly here, in our stomach here. Okay, your stomach is at the back of is at the back. Your stomach is not in the front. Your stomach is at the back. Okay? So try to understand that. So your belly is here, your stomach is at the back. So the neuropathy, it affects your digestive systems. Okay? Because the nerves in the digestive area may be negatively affect how we digest or metabolize our food. That may lead us to have nausea, vomiting, impaired hunger, constipation, and diarrhea. Those are a few examples of how neuropathy affect our digestive systems: constipation, diarrhea, impaired hunger, vomiting, and nausea. Remember, it has to do with nerves. Nerves, our body is littered with nerves. Okay, so that is why you have to, it's kind of cycle something. You got to make sure that your sugar levels within the 24 hours period remains where it's supposed to be. Okay, remains where it's supposed to be. Also, it can affect how food moves within the stomach and intestine. Okay, which can lead to poor nutrition and over time more difficult to manage blood sugar levels. How food will move from the small intestines to the larger intestines. The small intestine, the larger intestine. How food move from one to the other. Okay, so that is one. Just it's going to affect the digestive system. The next one is your sexual dysfunctions. Your sexual dysfunctions, what I've explained is, I've given this an example. Failure to control your sugar levels. If you have persistent too much sugar levels in your bloodstreams, it's going to affect your sugar levels. Either you have poor erection, weak erection, or no erection. Okay? Because of too much sugar levels in your bloodstream that is persistently damaging. That's what we call it proximal neuropathy. No, autonomic neuropathy. Autonomic neuropathy has to deal with your sexual organs. Okay? So, sexual dysfunction, both sexes, both male and female. The female is going to lose interest in intimacy in terms of libido. She will not even have interest at all. Loss of interest, don't even say it, don't even come near it. Because of too much sugar in your bloodstreams. The men is more pronounced. The weak, the poor, or none at all. Because we are all having too much nerves in those areas. So that's why it's important, okay, to make sure you manage your sugar levels very well. Okay. So let's look at the next one is infections in the legs and in the feet. I've explained this before. Infections in the legs and in the feet. When those nerves are being damaged in around your feet, when you have total loss of nerve damages in your feet, you are prone to injuries. You are prone to bruises. You are prone to cuts. You are at high risk of developing injuries in your feet. And once this occurs, because of you don't have much immune system defense in those areas, white blood cells are down, then infections can penetrate in those areas of your feet and your leg and cause you more damage. That may lead you to have an infection. One thing you have to understand, except you are properly managing your sugar level very well. So anytime you have an injury, sometimes it's going to take 2 to 3 days. It's going to heal. It's going to take about a week or 2 weeks to heal. But if you are poorly managing your sugar levels and they are always high, no healing takes place. When you have an open wound, that wound is not going to heal until your sugar level comes down before it starts healing. And that is why sometimes, if you are scheduled for surgery and you have your diabetes, they won't put you under the knife until your sugar level stabilizes for some period before they put you under the knife. Once they notice that the sugar level is too high, they stop it. Because once they cut it, because of the nature of your sugar level, it's going to take time to heal. An open wound invite infection. So if you're scheduled for surgery and you are diabetic, they will tell you beforehand that they will give you maybe a month or 2 months date that you're going under the surgery. They will tell you beforehand, make sure your blood pressure is okay, and make sure that your sugar level is okay from the day of the appointment to the day of your surgery. Because once they notice on the day of surgery that your sugar level is still high, they'll stop it. They won't put you on the knife because it cannot heal once your sugar level is high. Until your sugar level stabilizes where it's supposed to be, then they put you under the knife. So infections, nerves in the legs and feet are often mostly affected neuropathy. This can cause you to lose sensation to your feet and legs. Sore and cut can then arise, and you might not notice it. Okay, so these are the things that I'm trying to let you guys understand. Okay. Now, let's me go to somebody is asking me. Let's look at I'm hungry this morning. Let me look at let's look at the symptoms. Okay, let's look at the symptoms. I'm looking at this thing. Um, okay. I need some. Jemima, can you check your email? I sent you I send you a screenshot of it. Check your email, Jemima. All right, let's look at the symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. Let's look at the symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. Excuse me, I need some tea. I have to go and put. I'll be right back. Okay, I need some tea. I'll be right back. I need to get some tea. All right. Couldn't sleep last night. It's affecting me this morning. All right. Happy Christmas to all of you. Happy Christmas to all of you. I'm going to see what happened in Facebook. All right. Let's look at the symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. One is sensitive to touch. Sensitive to touch or loss of sense of touch. We are now discussing about symptoms of diabetic neuropathy. One is sensitive to touch or loss of sense of touch. I've said it in the beginning. Once you was in your feet or in your legs, once you allow the nerves in those areas to completely damage because of your carelessness, you don't take your diabetes situation seriously, and you allow the nerves in those areas to be damaged, there will be loss of touch or sensitivity to touch. Blood is not reaching those areas. The blood has to flow from the blood vessels to the nerves. So that sense of touch is gone. Okay? That's why when you go to see a doctor, they'll ask you to spread your hand this way and put your feet out, remove your shoe, and they'll tap on each of to see where they'll tap different part of your legs, feet, to know if you feel anything. Okay? So to know if you feel anything. Now the most second critical symptoms of neuropathy when it is getting worse. When it is getting worse, is you are having difficulty with coordination when you are walking. When you are walking, you're not walking straight, you're not walking straight, you are walking sideways, right or left, or your steps are not coordinating with each other. It's like one leg is more painful than the other, or when you are stepping on the ground, you have to step with one side of your foot, not to, because where that is not painful to use to walk, and avoid that area that is painful. So there is no coordination in terms of your walking. That is what is getting worse. And let me give you guys a typical example. If you those that have an elderly parent in 80s, in 90s, say they are 70 years old or 80 years old. You see that when our parents are getting years old, or maybe they are living with diabetes, you see them, their walking coordination changes, especially for those that are living with diabetes. Okay, you see their walking coordination changes, or they feel pain in certain areas of their feet or their hands. Like when I was when I was small, I was in primary school. When I go during the holidays, I go to the village to go and be with my grandpa. I have two grandpas. In fact, I have four different grandpas. But the first two are I have four different grandpas. But the first two that are most close to me is the grandpa from my mom's side and the grandpa from my dad's side. But I have other grandpas that are extended, that are still connected to the family. There are certain things at that early age, at my small age, that I cannot understand. But at my age now, I'm trying to look back and now I say, okay, now I understand what my grandpa was going through then. Because sometimes when I ask a question, you say, son, you will not know. But by the time you grow older, you understand. So that time when I go to the village, I use some palm kernel to be rubbing their feet. I'm going to sit down, he's going to give me the palm kernel, I'll be rubbing their feet, massaging them, and they will, that time, it's not now that they've destroyed the culture in our villages, in the village. Now, when you go to the village now, it's like a city. When we go to the village now, it's like a city. Those days when I go to the village, when you go to a village, you know this is a village. The way it is, those thatch houses, the chairs that was constructed with a trunk of a tree, You see the way they construct a chair with the trunk of a tree, they lie down there, and then you as a child will see there and they'll tell you some stories. So now, I'm now remembering when my granddad is going to sit. There's a chair, or should I call it a chair, a stool, or whatever. I don't know which name to call it. It's been constructed with a trunk of a tree. You see where they lie down, the tree trunk is just straight, and then the base of the seat where they sit down, they use something like some tree branches, and they use a rope to hold them together. But it's comfortable, very comfortable when you lie on there. The only thing that they will be lying is just that straight tree that's going to be in the cord, but it's more comfortable. So they will lie down there, and I'll be using the palm kernel to massage their legs, try to stretching their legs, and by the time you're doing that, they sleep off. And I've been wondering, you've seen the way my granddad is walking, you could see that he's limping in pain, sometimes in the waist side. So when I come down, I will use the palm kernel to strengthen it, to make sure, and when you rub them those things, it relieves them of those pains. Okay? It relieves them of those pains. So that's why I'm just remembering these second symptoms of difficulty with coordination when walking. So that brings me back to that time when I go to the village, I see how my granddad was walking, limping, and okay. And when I ask a question that I say, when you grow older, you'll know. And eventually, my granddad lost his sight. So at this age now, I remember, and my granddad, my grandmom from my dad's side lost their sight. My granddad was not born blind. Till I think at that time he was about 80s or 90s, he was about 70, 80. I think at the age of 80 he lost his sight. The same with my grandmom. He lost it. So, and I keep asking my mom, why did my grandmom all of a sudden lost her sight? My granddad lost her sight at that age. So it's now that I know, okay, now my granddad was dealing with diabetics at that time. So I'm adding 1+1 to know what they were dealing with. Then all of a sudden, I come back, she can't see anymore. My granddad can't see anymore. Okay? So the second symptom of neuropathy is you are going to have a difficulty with coordination when walking. This is the most critical aspect of when that you are having your nerves, you are losing your nerves. Which has gone to an extent whereby you're having difficulty coordinating your walking steps, it means you are losing your nerves. Blood is not flowing in those areas. So let's go to the third one, is the numbness or pain in your hands or feet. Numbness or pains in your hands or feet. We all know about these symptoms of numbness, pains, or the burning sensations in and around your feet. Okay? So, now, the burning sensation also, especially at night. So this, I'm just listing the symptoms of neuropathy. Okay? Now, we have the muscle weakness or wasting. The muscle weakness or wasting. In medical terms, there's something we call wasting. Wasting is not just ordinary wasting. You say, or somebody wasted something, but when it comes to medical terms, wasting is different. Wasting has a different medical understanding or definition to ordinary wasting. So when you have muscle weakness and wasting, it's different from the way you describe about wasting. Okay? So now we have the bloating or fullness. We're discussing the symptoms of neuropathy. Okay? The symptoms of neuropathy. So we have the bloating or fullness. We all know what is bloating, we all know what is fullness. So when you over bloated, it's like you ate, should I use the word, it's like when you bloat, your stomach is big, it's like you ate 2 pots of food. Or you look like if you're a man, you look like a pregnant woman. Okay? Then the fullness, it's like since morning you've not eaten anything, but you are filled. Since morning to about 2 p.m., you've not eaten anything, but why am I feeling full? I'm not feeling hungry. Okay? Somebody is asking me. Someone is asking me what is that wasting. All right. So someone is asking me what is that wasting. I should explain what is that wasting. Now, wasting, when we talk about wasting in terms of muscle weakness, or we use it as wasting, wasting is not the same, doesn't have the same definition or understand as ordinary wasting. You know, oh, you're wasting a food, you're wasting this water. No. When we talk about wasting in relation to muscles or medical terms, now, muscle wasting could be referred as atrophy. There's something we call atrophy. Okay? So if you don't want to use the word muscle wasting, you say atrophy. That's another name of a medical name of it. Now, this is caused when you are wasting your muscle, or muscle wasting is caused of not being able to regularly exercise your muscle. Okay? So when you have atrophy or muscle wasting, it's caused by not regularly exercising your muscles. This your muscles is very important. There's a reason why you are created with muscles. Either you're a female or a male. You must exercise your muscles. Don't just, I have a muscle. That muscle needs to be exercised. When you exercise your muscles, it has a different limitations and function and added value to your health. All right. So when you are not able to exercise your muscle regularly, you are doing what? Muscle wasting or atrophy. Now, your inability to move may be due to injury or underlying health condition. Now, our bones are connected to tendons and thousands of muscles. Okay? If you are not able to move any part of your body or coordinate your walking, okay? Because you are wasting your muscle. There's weakness in your muscle, you are wasting it. So that is why you're not able to do what? Use one or two parts of your body. So it is important to exercise your muscle. You don't necessarily need to go and register in the gym. You can stay in your comfort of your living room, exercise your body, just apply a little weight. Do you know mopping the floor, you are exercising your muscle? Just ordinarily mopping the floor. Sweeping, hoovering the carpet is also because when you hoover with the machine, you are using muscle to move those machines up and down. You are exercising the muscles. When you are jumping, you are exercising the muscle. It's not necessary when you want to go and register for gym. There are little exercises you can do inside the home that exercise the muscles and give you an added value to your health. Okay, when you are gardening, removing the weeds, you are exercising your muscles. So there are different exercises that you can do within the comfort of your home or even in your bed. It's part of exercising your muscles. It's not when you leave the home and go to the gym that you're exercising the muscles. There are little things you can do inside your home that you're exercising the muscles. Even that love making you are making to your husband or your wife, you're also exercising your muscles. All right? So that is it. That is what is called muscle wasting. Let's go back to what we were discussing before. So, I have some few minutes to round up. So now, diarrhea or constipation. These are all the symptoms of neuropathy. Dizziness when you stand up. Dizziness when you stand up. All these are all symptoms of neuropathy. Now, excessive or decreased sweating. When you have an excessive sweat or your sweat have decreased beyond reasonable doubt, these are all symptoms of neuropathy. Vaginal dryness. For a woman who is experiencing vaginal dryness, these are all symptoms of neuropathy. Remember, those areas all have a lot of muscles in around those areas. So, why do you have vaginal dryness? It's as simple as ABCD. Those nerves, blood vessels carry a lot of nutrient into the nerves. The nerves is what supply those nutrients in those areas to nourish those vaginal areas. So when those nerves are completely dead and blood is not emptying into the nerves, you're going to experience those vaginal dryness. That's one result. That does not mean it's a contributing factor why you have vaginal dryness. But in terms of this particular issue, that is why you have vaginal dryness. All right. So bladder problems, so that's incomplete bladder emptying. Incomplete bladder emptying. You have a bladder problem. So you pee, but you can feel that there's still some remaining inside you. You stand there to get it out. No, but you could feel there's some remaining. So that's an incomplete bladder emptying, which is a problem if you're a female or if you're a male. Okay. Now we have erectile dysfunction for those that are male. Erectile dysfunction is one of the most serious complications of what? Neuropathy. Whatever autonomic neuropathy has to do with the sexual organs or those areas. Then the vision problems such as double vision. So vision problem, we're talking about retinopathy. So vision problem, we're talking about retinopathy. Okay, so when you start developing retinopathy, either you are losing part of your eyesight or all your eyesight or half of it. These are all that have to do with issues of what neuropathy nerve damages. So total vision, partial vision, or one side of visions, these have to deal with your neuropathy. And then increased heart rate. Increased heart rate. That's one of the major organs of the body. That's fall under autonomic neuropathy. Autonomic neuropathy have two areas: the sexual organs and then your heart. So when you have a increased heart rate, then that's also a problem because there are a lot of muscles attached to your heart to help in the palpitation or the pumping of the blood in and out. So these are the symptoms of neuropathy. Okay? The person that asked that question, I believe I've answered those questions. I believe I've answered your question. All right. This is 2 hours now, so I'm not going to make the video too long. So I'm going to let it be here. Now, this video, in the first hour, I was discussing kidney nephropathy, mixed with neuropathy, because I'm linking both of them. So in the first 1 hour of this video, in the beginning of this video, you're going to be hearing about kidney disease. That's nephropathy. I'm discussing about the symptoms of neuropathy, the interlinkage between nephropathy and neuropathy. Okay, so in the first hour of this video, you're going to be hearing about kidney disease and the 5 stages of kidney disease mixed with neuropathy. Then in the second hour, this last hour was all about neuropathy. Okay, so that is it. So for those that are watching me and for those that have just joined me, you're going to wait till when I download the video and then you can watch. I think this is 2 hours video. It's going to be up to 5 part or 6 part 1 to part 6 videos, because for those that are watching me in TikTok, I have to split it to up to 6 parts. If you want to watch the full video entirely, you have to go to the YouTube or go to my Facebook page. But on TikTok, you only allow 60 minutes. So I have to break it down to about part 1 to part 6 to accommodate all the videos on TikTok. But if you want to watch all the full video from the beginning to the end without any part, just one video, go to my Facebook page or go to my YouTube page. But on TikTok, I have to break them down to part 6. So I have to do the first start, try to edit it 30 minutes. 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here. So that's going to be 4 parts, up to 4 parts. So 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. So part 1 to part 4 for you to get all the videos. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go now. Thank you for those that have joined me. I've been with you guys for 2 hours, even though I did not doze off on the camera because I'm tired. I could not sleep last night. I don't know why. I was tired. I can't say I was tired because I don't know. All of a sudden I can't find sleep. So that made me to wake up late. Instead of me starting early, I started late. I think I was about 45 minutes late to this program. Okay, so now it is time to let you guys go and enjoy your Saturday. While I think I'm going to watch the next soccer game now. I've missed 2 games now. And I'm going to relax, and then go through those questions that are coming in. So if this is your first time coming across my page, and you've not yet subscribed, try to do so. Okay, subscribe to my page so that anytime I'm live here, you'll be able to know. Now, if for those that are, I don't know, maybe some people I'm not going to see them here. The people that are here today, maybe I'm not going to see you guys again till after the new year, or I'm going to see you guys again. So if we don't see again, or you don't come back, we don't see again here, I wish all of you happy Christmas and happy New Year. For those, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be coming on live here. But some people might travel for the Christmas. Some people might, So if you're not able to follow me, wherever you are, know that I wish you happy Christmas and happy New Year. All right. So my friends, my fans all over the world, I wish you guys happy Christmas and happy New Year. For those that are in Africa, I wish you guys happy Christmas and happy New Year. All right. So that is it. So we still have about how many? Up to 4 weeks more before Christmas. That's okay. So I'm thanking you guys very much for being with me this afternoon. For those that are watching me and for those following me behind the scene, it is nice to see you guys this morning or afternoon or evening, depending on your location. All right. So hopefully I'm going to see you guys tomorrow, Sunday. Yes. And try this week. I'm going to try to make it to come back to this midweek program. I used to do midweek program every Wednesdays, but I think I'm going to I'm trying to rearrange the whole thing because for the past few months, due to a lot of things, I was not able to meet up with that midweek program that I do every Wednesday. So I'm going to try to bring them back now that I have much time on my side. Okay, to so we can do the midweek, the fan forum. I'd always do fan forum every Wednesdays and then the news aspect of it also every Wednesdays. So I'm going to try to bring everything back. Don't mind me the way I like this thing. Somebody's asking me, okay, now you see it now? It's two. This thing has been stuck inside, Men don't care about fashion. They just put their clothes and go. It's women that want to make sure everything is perfect. Yeah, I didn't even know until they remember this one was inside. I'll bring this one out. Okay, all right. So I'm going to see you guys quickly tomorrow. I'm going to try to squeeze in another program tomorrow. And so keep watching the video, send in your questions, and then if you're not yet subscribed to my page, kindly do so. So friends, I'm going to let you guys go for now. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Enjoy your Saturday afternoon. Bye.